Hello and welcome to my channel. Nnamdi Kanu today in court. Some people are wondering why he took such decision. Today, sincerely, what happened is quite serious. I'm telling you. What happened in Abuja today is very serious. Regards the trial of Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB. You see, this trial, we have been following it for a while. But let me tell you, it has reached a very critical point, considering from the time it began. Sincerely, it has reached a critical point. You know, after years of legal battles, court delays, and controversies, Kanu has now refused to defend himself in the terrorism trial fixed by the federal government. Remember, he discharged his lawyers that he's going to defend himself. But what happened today in court? My God. According to him, there is no valid case against him. There's no valid case against him. And that defending himself would only validate an illegal process. Some people will ask, you people shouldn't have allowed it to, start at the first place. And some people are saying it is too late to come and tell them there is no case, that they shouldn't have started it at the first place. Looking at how he was brought in, the renditioning thing. Yes, the fact is, Nnamdi Kanu took a very bold move today. But many are seeing that as a very risky gamble. Not just his critics, but even top lawyers, including human rights activists, Inibehe Effiong. He said it is a very risky gamble. Now, let's look at what really happened in court today. According to several reports, this is not being televised, but according to several reports, reliable sources, Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court has given Nnamdi Kanu 7 days to file his final written address. That is his legal argument in writing. It's just like what he did today. There is no case. Okay, put it in writing. And they will use that maybe to finalize. So, why did the judge do that? Because Nnamdi Kanu insisted that he would not open any defense. And he filed a no-case submission, just like that was the stance of his lawyer, the ones he dismissed on this particular trial, his defense. That was their stance. Now, in simple terms, a no-case submission means Kanu is telling the court, even if everything the prosecution said is true, it still doesn't prove any crime against me. That is what he's simply saying. But here's the twist. The judge rejected that submission. That is the problem. According to the judge, the prosecution's evidence is strong enough to require a defense, I mean. That what the prosecution presented is enough, that he has to answer something. So now the court has ordered Kanu to submit a written address within 7 days, after which both sides will argue their final position on November 4th, 5th, and 6th, 2025. It's almost next week. Yes, next week. So it's just a week. Now, let's look at what a no-case submission really means. Yes. Let's explain it clearly so everyone can understand. When someone is on trial, the government first presents his case in this kind of trial, witnesses, documents, and evidence. After that, the defendant can say one or two. Yeah, one or two things. One, there is no case here. And that is what Nnamdi Kanu's team did. They said there is no case here. The evidence is so weak. Then two, what happened in Nnamdi Kanu's case is, I will now defend myself. If the judge agrees there is no case, the person is discharged immediately. If the case of no case rendition by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's representative, if the judge had agreed, yes, the person, Nnamdi Kanu, would have been discharged. But if the judge disagrees, the person must defend himself. That is it. Themselves or himself, depending on how many they are. That's the stage Nnamdi Kanu has reached. The judge said there is a case to answer. But instead of defending, Kanu said, I still won't speak. There is no charge against me. That's it. Igbo people will say, Obajugodolo. Now, what this particular lawyer said, Inibehe Effiong, what he said, let's look at it. It's in the news. He's a popular human rights lawyer. He's popular. You already know him. Look at his face there. His reaction to this Kanu's decision, he said it is very risky legal gamble. According to Effiong, since the court already ruled that there is a case to answer, the safest legal path for Kanu would be to open his defense or call witnesses. You know, in the last sitting, he was saying he will call witnesses from around the world, Kenya, I think Ethiopia, and we were like, oh, he mentioned Wike and the rest of them. And what really happened? All of a sudden. So according to Effiong, refusing to defend means the prosecution's evidence stands unchallenged, that he did not challenge the evidence provided by the prosecution. Nobody cross-examines the witness. Nobody counters the claim, as if, okay, we have presented a claim, and the judge said, you have to answer to this. And you're saying no case submission, you are not ready to challenge the claim. So according to the Effiong, he said, Kanu is taking a legal risk. The burden of proof is still on the prosecution. But if he doesn't defend, the court may rely on what the government presented. Meanwhile, we were seeing covered witness and the rest of them. So according to Effiong, while Kanu may be trying to make a political statement, the courtroom is not a political stage. It's a legal battlefield. So it's where you slug it out legally. It is not where politics is done. It's about, unless perhaps they have decided to resolve this politically. Now let's go to that judge's reaction. The judge's reaction. Justice Omotosho also showed concern. He warned Nnamdi Kanu directly that refusing to defend himself could lead to a serious legal disadvantage. He warned him. But at the same time, the judge allowed him time to file a written argument. They signed that the court wants to be fair and transparent. And observers say this shows the court is walking a fine line between enforcing the law and avoiding political bias. Now, this is a big turning point, and let me tell you why. It is a big turning point. This stage of the trial is not just about one man. It's about the image of justice in Nigeria. Many people in the southeast and around the world are watching closely. In fact, the whole of Nigeria are watching this trial. If the process looks unfair, it could increase anger and division. But if Kanu's team plays the legal game properly, it could set a new example of how justice should work, even in political sensitive cases. So this is why lawyers are calling this make or break moment for both Kanu and the Nigeria's judiciary. And let me tell you, everybody is being careful, not only Kanu. The judge is very careful. they are, nobody wants to Future will remind everybody whatever mistakes that is made. Now let's finally analyze it and we're out of here. Let's be honest. Nnamdi Kanu's decision is emotionally understandable. He has been detained for years, kidnapped from Kenya under controversial circumstances and denied bail several times. But legally speaking, his refusal to, from a legal angle now, his refusal to defend himself is a dangerous road. Yes, he's making a statement that he doesn't trust the system. But the same system is what can set him free if he uses it wisely. This is why many observers say you can protest injustice from outside the courtroom, but inside the courtroom, you must use law, not emotions. Use law, you know how to use it. So, if his legal team focuses on facts, technicalities, and procedural flaws, they could still turn the case around. But if they rely on sentiment, the gamble may fail. That is it. I'm telling you this without bias. At the end of the day, justice must not only be done, it must be seen to be done. The Nnamdi Kanu case is not just about one man, it's about what Nigeria stands for. Law or power. So, as the court reconvenes in early November, all eyes will be watching. Will the law prevail or will politics win again? You're watching IGBO AREA TV, where we bring you truth in plain language. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because every voice matters in the fight for justice. Bye for now.